Hello, welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Zeleny. With 2020 finally coming to an end, I really wanted to do a video sort of ranking and discussing some of the biggest and most ridiculous pop culture moments of the year. It was definitely a really tough year for the whole world, and sometimes you just gotta kick back and laugh at some dumb celebrities, or at least that's a form of coping that I have. So I wanted to go ahead and rank some of the craziest, most impactful pop culture moments of this year and share it with you guys. I was inspired to make this video from a post on the subreddit Popheads, which I recommend a lot as a subreddit. It has some of the best discussions, and it's on top of all the music coming out. It has great different opinions. There was this post that I saw today that was talking about what are the cringiest, craziest, most ridiculous celebrity moments. I will link that thread down below. So that post contains many of the examples I'm going to be using in this video. Thank you to the r/popheads community for always staying on top of pop and pop culture and providing like the best discussions. There are some things on my list that aren't mentioned in the thread, but most of the things were mentioned and I remembered thanks to this post. I decided to make this video too because the curls are popping today, really, like, am I right? Am I right? And I even got I bought these hairpins in late 2019 and I thought they were gonna be like the star of all my outfits when I went out this year, and so now they're kind of like an interesting time capsule of like the craziest year ever. So I decided I'm gonna do the top 10 things that happened this year. They're sort of in categories, so each rank, like number 10, number 9, number 8, they all have like several examples of it. It's not just like one-off thing. It's kind of arbitrary, but I just rank them based on my own subjective opinion. Okay, so let's get started. These are the top 10 moments of 2020. So at number 10, like I was saying, I did categories for this. So number 10 is the miscellaneous category. Yes, I said it, miscellaneous. Get it? It's not me miscellaneous, it's miscellaneous because it's these are just celebrity or whatever big noteworthy news stories that sort of just didn't fall under a theme and were just kind of wild and I still wanted to mention. I have Elon Musk and Grimes math equation name baby, which was kind of a moment, and recently was brought up again because of Elon Musk acting ridiculous and problematic as usual and transphobic, saying pronouns are difficult or an aesthetic nightmare or whatever, and yet his child's name is an aesthetic nightmare by definition. Like it was so hypocritical, and but that name just spawned a lot of funny memes on Twitter, and I thought was noteworthy to put on the list. Another sort of miscellaneous thing is the Ratatouille, the TikTok Ratatouille fan-made musical, which is apparently happening, and Titus Burgess is Remy. He got cast recently. Apparently tickets are on sale. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. So if you don't know about the TikTok Ratatouille musical, it's basically this trend on TikTok that took hold, and every kind of theater kid, from like singers to composers to set designers to choreographers, just made contributions to a hypothetical Ratatouille musical, not endorsed by Disney, not endorsed by Pixar, not official in any way. It's been inspiring to watch. Like, the music has been amazing, the ballads that have come out of it, the character work, the puppets. This is one of those TikTok trends that just kept me going this year and was definitely a high note for social media in general. Another random thing on the list for me was Ariana Grande getting engaged. She's now engaged to Dalton Gomez. I just think that was sort of noteworthy news of like a big pop star, but didn't fit into many categories. There's just so much this year that has been noteworthy that celebrity couples are not at the top of the list. We did get a few like quarantine chic, if you want to call this chic, photographs, paparazzi photographs of like celebrity couples in quarantine. That's about it. Let's move on to the real categories. At number 9, I put all of the video games that went viral this year. I do believe COVID-19 had a part in this, and people were looking to game. It's one of those activities you can do at home. There were some games that really took over. Lots of people that, if you game, you probably played some of these. One of the first was Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, which really, I attribute getting through this year to that game, partially because it came out right as the pandemic and lockdown really hit the United States. It was a life simulation game of a utopia, living on an island close to nature, having simple tasks, building a community in your island, expressing yourself, decorating. There was a lot of like freedom with this game of decorating your island, decorating your house. I celebrated like every holiday with my friends within Animal Crossing, and it was just so fun to have a place that we could all bond in and have a lot of fun. And it's cute, it's escapism, and I really appreciate that game. I think it deserves like the game of the year. It was just one of those magical timings that was like how Pokemon Go was in 2016, but opposite when lockdown was hitting and like everyone was sad and lonely. This game really gave a sense of community and escapism that we needed in that moment. I'm still playing it and I still love it. So the next game after that became super viral was Fall Guys, which was, I don't know if it was as widespread, but it was definitely something played by many streamers. You compete with like 100 other people and compete in an obstacle course. It had cutesy imagery, fun colors, and you could actually play with your friends within it. The craze for this game didn't last super long, but I think it's still going strong, and it's a really fun game to play. After Fall Guys, really the most viral game of this year, I would say, was Among Us. The reason this game was so huge was because it made itself easy to access. It's free on phone to play, so you had your gamer people playing and you had non-gamer people able to play as well. It's definitely more of a social game, and it was all about lying and backstabbing and who is the imposter. It's basically a new iteration of like Mafia or Werewolves or those games that you play sometimes at like camp. I don't know. It's a classic concept and it was simple, but it just got popular, I believe, through TikTok, and streamers just went crazy. There was real life recreations of the game. There was all kinds of memes, and it's still, I think, going strong. And you can check out my Among Us videos on my channel. And Among Us was actually a 2018 game, which just made it crazier that it went viral. It was like the Truth Hurts of 2020, I think. So number 8 is all the viral TV shows that went around, especially during the quarantine. I think the biggest one we had was Tiger King. There was a solid 2 weeks in March, April, where everybody was watching Tiger King and everyone was talking about Tiger King. I jumped on the train, I watched it. It was kind of tragic and sad and messy, and it just, everyone in that docuseries seems like a terrible person, to be honest. Every single last person. It gave us Carol Baskin on Dancing with the Stars, where she did terribly. She danced like a 5-year-old at a school recital. Another viral show, which maybe will make you nostalgic because it happened before the pandemic, but we started off our year with it. Some say we were cursed by this show, and that is Love is Blind on Netflix, a reality show where people got engaged through a wall before ever seeing each other, and then lived together, and then got married at the end. Oh my, it was wild. It was crazy. It was just, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, to be honest. It was like simpler times, you know? It really took dating reality shows to the next level. Like, you are getting engaged here, you are getting married here, and I think it's pushing the genre forward, if I want to be that generous. Another sort of viral Netflix moment that was kind of smaller, but I thought was cute. I guess this one's more of a positive. It's that Zac Efron show where he like discovers like everyday random things, like engineering things, and is amazed by them. And this is where Zac Efron established himself as a himbo for sure. And he had this really cute moment where he ate pasta and was like, I haven't been able to eat pasta in years because of the pressures of Hollywood and things like that. So that was kind of sad to hear about, but I'm glad he is having his Eat, Pray, Love himbo moment. Good for Zac Efron. And then lastly, on shows that went viral, I wanted to touch on an oldie but goodie. It was the year of rediscovering Avatar: The Last Airbender, because this show came on Netflix. It became a huge trend to watch the show. I think a lot of people discovered it for the first time, me included, and I'm a huge fan. I cannot recommend that show enough. It is a masterpiece for sure of a show, whether you like cartoons or anime or not. I think the themes transcend the medium, and it is an amazing show. Also, having like a year of like crazy government stuff going on in the US, I think it touched on a lot of themes that I felt were like relevant to our current injustices and government situation that feels really shitty for most Americans. So it was just like a good timing for that show to be rediscovered. Okay, let's move on to number 7. It's kind of a dark one and a complicated one, but not really that complicated in my opinion. Number 7 is cancel culture, and that encompasses a lot of things. I'll touch on just a few. One thing that happened a lot this year was like the public turning on beloved or traditionally beloved celebrities. For example, we had allegations come out against Ellen that she's mean. There was no real proof or anything to it. It was just like she's mean, and it was accounts of like staff and stuff. I believe she might be a diva. But I also think it's funny how like celebrities came out and like defended her. So this happened with Chris Pratt as well, and like Chris Pratt had more reasons for people to turn against him. Like I'm fine personally with people turning on him because he's like weirdly religious now and maybe Republican, and it's kind of it's shady. He's part of like a homophobic church and things like that. The same thing happened to both Ellen and Chris Pratt, where like a day later, after all these, they got canceled on Twitter, there was all these other celebrities coming in to defend. And it's just funny to me because it feels like, you know, Ellen's PR team, Chris Pratt's PR team emailed all his friends and colleagues in the industry and was like, hey, can you go out on Twitter and defend Chris Pratt or Ellen's character? They're not really canceled in any sense. They're hugely successful people, and that's the whole point I sort of got from this year about cancel culture. It's not really real to much extent. A lot of times people are quick to call anything cancel culture, even if it's just like people being called out, rightfully so. A lot of times these people's careers don't suffer long term in any way at all. So I think cancel culture and accountability culture are two different things. And yes, some people deserve to be canceled, and they aren't usually because they're powerful or successful in the industry. They have enough fans. Other random celebrities the public turned on was like Matthew Morrison just for being shitty. I mean, I rewatched some past Glee episodes and like, yeah, maybe. But also Leah Michelle, she had serious allegations about her diva and racist behavior on set, so I think she deserves to be called out for sure. And one final note on this category is the Jenna Marbles leaving situation. I'm not touching much on influencer stuff in this video just because that is its own whole world basically that doesn't transcend into mainstream media very often. But the Jenna Marbles leaving sort of instigated a big discussion around cancel culture. And again, Jenna was not in any way, shape, or form bullied off the platform. She wasn't canceled. She wasn't nothing. She took accountability for some stuff when she parted, but there seemed to be other reasons that were the reason she left. It wasn't because she was being canceled. And lots of drama channels and stuff spun it to be like she was bullied off the internet or whatever. And I don't believe that was the case. As a big fan, it was definitely sad to see her go, but she provided us a lot of years worth of content. And hey, if I was her, I would retire in a heartbeat. Like, in a heartbeat. Like, imagine you just live in LA in this very nice house with your pets and your boyfriend. Like, of course I would fucking retire. Like, number 6, I have TikTok versus conservatives. 2020 was an election year. It was highly, highly contentious, and conservatives were triggered by everything. There will be more on that later in this video. I loved seeing TikTok and Gen Z and K-pop stans sort of band together and hope to sabotage a Trump rally in Tulsa. Then after that, a few months later, Trump was trying to ban TikTok. Then he forgot that he was banning TikTok, and that's where they're at now. TikTok's like, hello, like, are you gonna ban us or what? So we had Claudia Conway exposing that her mom had COVID on TikTok. So, like, I just loved the Gen Z versus conservatives narrative this year. Last thing I'll mention in this category, this doesn't fit into the TikTok thing, but it fits into the conservatives being clown thing. The whole 4 Seasons thing was such a moment, such a, literally, like, sitcom writers would write this, and basically Trump's team rented out, or Rudy Giuliani, whoever, they rented out this 4 Seasons landscaping parking lot, thinking it was the 4 Seasons hotel for a press conference, and it was just like the stupidest, dumbest thing ever that felt so surreal. Like, the simulation really dialed up the sitcom comedy for this incident. Okay, so number 5, I have kind of a big one that I enjoyed for the most part. I think maybe some people find this kind of annoying, but it was like the Zoom reunion. The year of Zoom reunions for like casts of every show, every movie, every reality show, cast table reads, cast fundraisers, reunions, Zoom, all these things. I personally enjoyed seeing this. There was, as a fan of like TV shows and lots of TV shows, I know I watched like the Mean Girls one, the Parent Trap one, the Parks and Rec one. There was like one for The Comeback, which was awesome. It was just nice to hear from these cast people. Yeah, I got kind of tired because every show did this, but also I enjoyed it, and it's nice that almost every show is out there. So if you have a favorite show, you just look up that show, Zoom cast reunion, and you'll probably find it on YouTube. Part of this also was like, this was more an Instagram live thing. We were getting a lot of like reality TV show exposés, mostly America's Next Top Model. This rapper, YouTuber, and personality Oliver Twixt, he's been doing America's Next Top Model contestant interviews for a while on Instagram that actually get down to the tea of like exposing crazy things about the show. They're sort of my new podcast, is like listening to either these cast reunions or these interview expose things. I follow a lot of the Drag Race podcasts, and they were doing a lot of Instagram lives and live shows. It was a lot of like virtual content by like everyone basically, and whether that was Zoom or Instagram Live, I enjoyed it. I actually have my own little reality show interview expose coming soon on my channel, so I'm excited about that. I feel like I watched so many of these interviews and moderator things that I was automatically comfortable doing it, so stay tuned for that. That's gonna be fun. Okay, so number 4, I'll try not to spend too much time. I'll just mention some ridiculous moments, but number 4, I have sort of like the music moments of this year, which I have a whole video you can check out on my channel of like 2020 pop music that I loved. Basically 2020 was a huge year for music. There was a lot of releases. Notably, we had Taylor Swift drop 2 albums, Folklore and Evermore, and they were both surprise drops, like we find out the day of kind of drops. So those were huge sort of moments for sure in pop culture. Another funny one I thought was just a ridiculous moment in music was when Justin Bieber posted this Instagram post of how to get Yummy to #1, and it had all these like sort of cheats that normally you see stands of certain artists post things like this of like how to get Blackpink to #1. It involves like switching VPNs and things at times. Like it's kind of excessive, and it's kind of like the diehard stands that do this. But this was like Justin Bieber posting the how to get Yummy to #1. So it really showed this desperation for him to make that song succeed, even though most people did not like it. My final piece of music moment that I enjoyed was Ali and AJ's potential breakup song, Having New Life. So first of all, we had this moms TikTok where it was a cringy lip sync video of these moms that lip synced to potential breakup song by Ali and AJ, and it went super viral. That sort of led to a big revival of the song, and just recently this week, I think actually today, the day I'm filming this video, Ali and AJ released the explicit version of potential breakup song, which it was always meant to be, and it's just amazing to see like something I was bopping to in, 6th grade, 7th grade, sort of re-released for adults, and it just feels so right, and it feels so good, and it sounds great, and Ali and AJ are just like queens. If only Lizzie McGuire had followed those footsteps and let us have an adult Lizzie, but we'll see in the future. So far, it got canceled. The reboot got canceled this year. That doesn't fit anywhere in this list, but that was personally tragic for me. Number 3 and number 2 have to do with COVID-19, but I've split them up by like specifying. You'll see. So number 3 is sort of like celebrity reactions to the pandemic, and I'm speaking in an irresponsible sense. Pretty much all across the board, irresponsible COVID-19 reactions by celebrities. Taking the cake for this category is Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens, my favorite. She had a famous Instagram live where she dismissed the pandemic. Granted, she was very upset that Coachella was canceled, her favorite and only event of the year, aside from filming holiday Netflix movies. She was devastated by Coachella being canceled, so she went on Instagram Live and ranted in her own Vanessa Hudgens way about how this pandemic was annoying and said this. Till July sounds like a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. But like, it's a virus. I get it. Like, I respect it. But at the same time, like, even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die, which is horrible, but like, inevitable? I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now. And famous last words, girl, because yeah, you shouldn't be doing this right now. You shouldn't be saying that. Also, Till July was not a bunch of bullshit. We're in December, January 2021, going into it still in the same state or worse pandemic-wise. So Coachella was canceled for good reason, and Vanessa Hudgens issued an apology soon after. She can't take that back, and it was insensitive but kind of iconic and just stupid. Just showed she's kind of dumb.
It's a virus, I get it, like, I respect it.
So we also had this guy in the NBA, sorry I don't know his name, but it was like this athlete who, it was at the very beginning of the pandemic, who ended up looking like a clown because he went around, touched every mic, was putting his mouth everywhere. He was like doing this press conference, and turns out, lo and behold, like a day or two later, he is positive with COVID-19, and he was over here like joking around, spreading it, and it was just wild. This situation led to this NBA bubble situation that became like a pioneer of like how to do projects in the COVID-19 pandemic, and it was just crazy. Like, this guy was like clowning around being stupid about COVID, and then it turns out he had it and he was actually spreading a virus. And finally, we have all of the celebrities and influencers partying, and going to remote islands with 50 people. Like the Kardashians went to this island. It was the same energy as that tweet of that guy saying, you know, all masks and social distancing, and we all got tested and got negative results, and the photo was like 50 people without masks. Just my closest inner circle here. There's a lot of partying, a lot of influencers, TikTok, big houses, Jake Paul having parties, and a lot of irresponsibility all around of influencers just ignoring safety guidelines, COVID guidelines, and not giving a fuck. So that was sad. It was stupid. And we've seen which celebrities sort of don't care and aren't taking precautions and aren't smart. I know Miss Dula Peep was one of these. I was just going out, hanging out with friends all the time. Hopefully we won't forget who those people were, and we won't trust them. I don't trust them. So number 2, it goes hand in hand with this celebrity handling and reactions to COVID-19, but number 2 is like, I'm gonna call it celebrities' reaction to lockdown and quarantine, which was different from like the COVID-19 pandemic. In these early days of the pandemic, where people thought we would be in quarantine for 2 weeks, and we're like, the people need inspiration. So guess what the celebrities did? They sang Imagine by John Lennon. Wow, we're cured of our depression, of this oppressive system, and a pandemic hitting us. Sorry, I'm not trying to get bleak in this video, so dialing it back. So the Gal Gadot and then the Wonder Woman people, Kristen Wiig, and these celebrities, they decided it would be a great inspirational thing to sing Imagine for us peasants. And I love that this moment got roasted on social media by teens, by everyone. It got roasted. It was like so dumb, it was cringy, and it was immediately just received very poorly by the public and the Twitter. We also had John Mayer sort of mock them in a fun way, where he's saying Imagine by Ariana Grande instead of by John Lennon, so it just proved John Mayer's kind of funny, even though I think he's douchey. I don't know if he's canceled, but he's a funny guy on social media.
Imagine there's no heaven. Easy if you try.
No hell below us.
Me with no makeup, you in a bathtub, bubbles and bubbly, ooh.
This was a funny moment, I'll give it to him.
Am I sorry? Not even close.
This I thought was so funny. Oh my god, this is why this is number 2, because this this cracked me up. So I don't know if y'all remember at the beginning of quarantine again, we had a lot of those viral videos of, especially from Europe, of people singing on their balconies for essential workers, healthcare workers. There were all these videos of like Italians, I think it was in Italy, singing songs welcoming home, you know, healthcare workers, nurses, and doctors. Twitter is ruthless, I swear. So Twitter went ahead and was like, oh, I'm gonna put my favorite star's song on these videos, so it would be the same video of like the people singing from the balconies, and they put some audio filter on it where it sounds like they're singing whatever song, like it sounds like people singing a song. So a lot of celebrities and singers got duped into thinking those people were singing their songs. This was wild, and it happened to a lot of like celebrities. So it happened, I think, to Katy Perry. It happened to Nikki Blonsky. She thought they were singing a movie from Hairspray. It happened to Madonna. It happened to Cheryl Cole. Like, why would people in Italy be singing your song to welcome healthcare workers? Your random ass pop song, and they were just like, oh my god. Oh my god, they're singing my song. Wow. I don't blame them. It was believable. Like, these sounded like people singing, I guess, but I'm pretty sure they probably just took like concert footage, concert audio, and put it over it, or I don't know. But it's just funny. There was like so many edits of this where it was the same video but with different pop songs. pop songs being the song, and it was just crazy that celebrities fell for it. For number one, I have two kind of major moments that have one common theme, and that is that they triggered conservatives very hard. So the first one, which I think is so stupid, was the Harry Styles in a dress thing. Oh my god. So the conservatives decided to go and hold on to this as like their hill to die on, and that the death of manly men, and it's just, for me, it was the dumbest thing ever. Like, I see men in dresses constantly because that's just the side of the internet I'm on, and to me it's literally nothing to see him in a dress. It was just like fashion and just whatever, literally whatever. The only reason I was excited is because I was a One Direction stan and I love Harry Styles, sure, but that's the thing about, and I'll say this here, like, the conservative media is so annoying because they rely on people's outrage on these things, and they just like overdo the dramatics and the theatrics about how offended they are, when in reality I don't think these people care. When they go home, go to bed, they're not caring about these things their persona online cares about that much. Like, they're just, this is how they make their money, and like, that's why I'm not mentioning any of these bitches by name or anything, because that's what they want. Like, that's it. They get attention by saying the most outrageous thing. So every time people are like, oh my god, can you believe this bitch said she was so offended by Harry Styles, he's not manly, it's like, who the fuck cares what this random ass blonde lady thinks? Like, sorry. So I just give those things as little attention as possible. But that was a moment that everyone got asked about. What do you think of Harry Styles in a dress? So the actual number one thing I had for this was WAP. And I touched on it in my music review of recap of 2020, but WAP was like a huge moment in pop culture. It was one of those where the world stopped, and again, it was one of those moments where every single person gets asked, like, what are your thoughts on WAP? Like, no matter what the interview, no matter what are your thoughts on WAP? It's like, even people irrelevant to anything. Again, conservatives were triggered. The only funny thing to come out of that was like that dumbass admitting that he never pleasures his wife in his attempt to hate on the song. Honestly, I'm going to use the same argument that these people use against singers and rappers. Stick to politics. Why are you commenting on music? You're a politics commentator. Why are you caring about WAP? You're not a musician. You're not a rapper. So, but anyway, so WAP was a huge moment, and it was just super cool. It was an iconic collab. Cardi B, who is like now this powerhouse in pop and rap, and Megan Thee Stallion, who's like up and coming, and she really like last year and this year skyrocketed to like mainstream and like more of like the best new artist kind of category, but she's up there now, so it had like someone youthful and someone more established. And the music video was super iconic. Like, the outfits were on point and crazy and cool and campy, and the choreography, everyone did it on TikTok. I'm kind of uncomfortable that so many like underage kids were doing this dance, but okay. Unfortunately, no one asked me. No one gave me my interview moment. What do you think of WAP? Well, I'm gonna give it to you even though no one asked. I think it was empowering, I think it was really fun, and I think it was like scandalous in like a fun way where it like drew the attention of everyone. The hype was like, what could it stand for? And then when we found out, it was like, yeah. So I think that was like a great moment. I feel like a lot of people complain that we no longer have like these big music video moments or like these big releases like we did earlier in like the 2010s, but I think we still do. They're just like hard to achieve, and this was an example of one of them where everyone in mainstream is discussing it, talking about it. It had like crazy iconic lyrics, macaroni in a pot. Like, I can never look at macaroni the same way again. It impacted everyone, everything, and broke the internet that day. So those were my ranking of the pop culture moments and trends of 2020. Please let me know if I missed any. If you had a favorite pop culture moment, something, the stupidest one, the most ridiculous, the dumbest, the cringiest, I want to know in the comments. Be sure to check out my music of 2020 review if you like pop music. And please like and subscribe to this video if you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it. I enjoy talking about these moments here because I don't get to in real life very often because no one cares that much. And maybe you don't care, but I really appreciate it if you like and subscribe and turn on the bell notification to get updates about my new videos. I also give updates on my videos on my Twitter and Instagram at Miscellaneous. I hope you had an okay 2020. Congratulations on surviving and making it through. I really hope your 2021 is better, and mine is better, and everyone's is better, and things seem to be looking up for the world, so I'm hopeful and optimistic, but cautious as usual. And I can't wait to see what pop culture moments 2021 brings us. I don't know if it's going to be the next level or it's going to be something more positive and less traumatizing. So we will see. I hope you had a great holiday time, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye. Happy New Year.